Hello everyone, you are welcome to yet another interesting edition of Creative Forum on ABS TV, and I am your host Chisom Udeoba. As usual, we have a lot of interesting things for you, from the Creative Insights, which is the interview section, to the book for the week, you know, creative people are readers, and then to the Creative Updates, where we bring you things happening in the world of creativity. Today we have a very interesting topic, which is sculpture as a form of creative art. You know, sculpture is a form of creative art that adds beauty, glamour, ambience to every environment where it is found. And today we are currently at the Sculptural Hub of the Fine and Applied Arts Nnamdi Azikiwe University to look at beautiful works of art and also to meet people that are into this art. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Hello, you're welcome back from that short break. And yes, we are still here at the sculpture studio of the Fine and Applied Art Department in Nnamdi Azikiwe University. And now it's time for us to introduce our guest to you, who is a sculptor. So come with me as we go meet him.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, same here. Wow, it's really wonderful to be here. So today we're talking about sculpture as a form of creative arts.
Okay.
Yes. But before we go in, you have to just tell us about yourself.
Okay. I am James Eddiong. I'm currently a sculptor.
Okay.
I specialize in sculpture aspect of fine art. And currently also I'm a core member serving in fine art department, assistant lecturer. So good to have you around.
Yeah, same here, same
All
here.
right.
So can you tell us in your own terms, what is sculpting? What is a sculpture? What are they?
Okay. Sculpture, basically as you look around, you can see a lot of sculptures around.
Yes, yes.
It's simply a work of three-dimensional art. It's an art of carving, molding, installation, and then of course art printing of a three-dimensional surface.
Okay.
So that's what sculpture is all about.
Okay.
Then the three-dimensional art there means the work has depth. It's not like a flat surface painting or like a picture on the wall.
Okay.
But the work, you can feel it. You can put your hands through it, like the leg of the person if you see there. You can put your hand and you see your hand coming out from this.
Yeah.
It's just a play of a form on space. That's what sculpture is all about.
Wow. So most people will say sculpture is like a visual form of art. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, it is. Now, sculpture is part of fine art, like I said before. Basically, we have sculpture and painting as an aspect of fine art.
Okay.
Then, you've been hearing of ceramics, right?
Yes, yes.
You've also been hearing of graphics
Yes, yes.
and textile.
Okay.
They're all part of art.
Okay.
But those other ones are in the aspect of utilitarian art, where we use them in our daily life and also as art. For instance, you have a plate with you where you eat, the ceramics plate with you where you eat.
It's okay.
It is an art piece.
Oh, are you serious?
It is.
Wow.
You have your plate with you. It's well designed in order to match your beauty. It's art. But you're wearing it to cover your nakedness.
Yeah. Wow.
So those aspects are called utilitarian or industrial arts. But the aspects that really focus on beautification, adornment, and then recording history is that of the sculpture and painting.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
So sculpture is part of visual art.
Okay. Wow. So what makes sculpture, makes sculpting a creative art? What's that thing that you say makes it creative?
Okay. Sculpture is one very big, I would say, is a form where one can express himself, his or himself or herself in art through using surrounding items.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, it is
like
creative. Surrounding things you can find in the surroundings, including wood, any found object, waste. That's why sometimes you see artists going to the waste bin to select some thrown or wasteful items, and then bring it back to the studio and design them in a marvelous way that you will like it. So art, sculpture as a creative art entails an artist bringing up something to life where it has never occurred. So that's ingenuity for someone to gather items and then try to install it to bring out an image or depict an idea or try to, express his or herself emotionally, makes it creative.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That's how it is.
Yes. Wow, this is wonderful. So, I want to know if I want to go into sculpting, is it for everybody? Let's say someone that's watching us now might want to go into sculpting. Is it for everybody, or do you need this technicality or this ability, inbuilt ability, to be able to be a sculptor?
Sculpture, I really want to say this because there has been a lot of arguments, controversies, whether sculpture is has to do with talent or it has to do with being born with it. I can say this and say it again. Sculpture, just like every other endeavor of life, is an aspect where one can develop. You can develop in as much as you have passion in it. I know that anything you have passion in it, you can do it as you can just become the best out of it if you have a high passion in it. So it is more of passion than talent. For instance, now I develop a passion in let's say tomorrow now I feel that I should become a doctor. It's for me to develop a passion for it. Start, getting close to doctors. Start learning things about medical fields. It's just like that. So the same thing goes to art. If one has a high passion and determined to, become an artist, he can become, as well as my field, that's sculpture. If you want to be an artist or a sculptor, it's just for you to assess yourself, really determine within you that you can do it. Then we all have basics. It's not just like a magic that one could just put up a whole thing structure without having a format. There is a format and steps into building a sculpture. So by the time someone, should I say, someone who never had any idea about sculpture comes in, we have to, make you pass through this series of learning. You start from simple to complex. From there, we tell you how to compose items, geometric shapes, to make it marvelous in the eye. From there, you now build up your artistic ideas, and you can become a very good sculptor. Okay,
so that's what people do when they go into the university to study?
Yes, that's what they do. Okay. You'll be taught of elements of design, principles of design. There is no artwork that doesn't have any of those elements. We have balancing, we have shapes, we have line, all those things. All those are the ideas, the abstract ideas that an artist must consider while building up his work. So that's how it is.
Okay, as everything you've said now sounds so beautiful. But are there maybe workspace accidents that happen maybe in where you work? Maybe things that happen while you're working, and maybe you need to wear certain dresses to prevent them?
Okay, yes. Coming to sculpture, what I'm really emphasizing on sculpture is that, is one of the, if not the most tedious part of fine art, because sometimes you have to use some engineering tools to work with in order for you to achieve a particular aim. So we make use of a lot of hazardous objects. We weld, we carve, we use saw to cut down woods, metal. So in such an environment, it's better for an artist or someone who goes into a sculpture studio to keep up himself in order for him not to be injured. Because in sculpture studio, you have a lot of irons, thrown away irons, metal, nails, a lot of stuff like that. So you see artists going to studio with a boot, engineering boots. If you have your coverall or your apron, you wear to protect yourself from dirt, and then protect your feet too from being matched on a sharp object. So that's how it is.
Beautiful. Yes, and we are still here watching and listening to James Eddiong, a sculptor. Well, we'll have to go on a short break now, but when we return, we'll have to go deeper into this. So don't go anywhere. welcome back from that break. Now we are inside the sculpture studio to see how these artworks are being formed and to also know how James does his works. So James, how has it been for you? How did you start this work? How did you begin?
Okay. I actually started the work. I started developing the passion for it some years ago, like 8 years ago, where I saw a beautiful art piece. And something right inside of me told me, hey, you can do that. Because I've always been, trying my hands in drawing. I was somehow good at it. You understand? So at that moment, I just decided to start looking out for art outlets like studios, galleries. And then I later met with someone, a professional artist also, who actually shaped my passion and showed me basics I need to follow in order for me to become one other sculptor. So I then followed him in the studio. He started practicing as a studio artist, and I then automatically become an apprentice.
Wow.
So from then my ideas towards art, got fully developed. I took JAM. I had an admission in 2012, and when the year of my specialization came, I specialized in sculpture, and now I'm a sculptor.
So can you tell us maybe some of the artworks that are here and maybe their forms?
Okay.
You can see this stone, this metal work.
Okay, let's start from this work.
Okay.
If you look at the work very well, you might definitely recognize the shapes of it.
Okay.
The artist here is using metal to bring out a traditional musical instrument.
Okay.
So there you can see a guitar.
Yes, the guitar.
And also you can see horn.
Yes.
And then you can see gong.
Oh.
All of them are being composed using metal. We have a metal pan being bended along with a metal rod to bring out a particular shape. Then in the whole process you'll be seeing the artist hitting hitting something so hard, sometimes a little very hard, to bring out the shape he wants, to form all these things. So if you look at this, you see this is a clay sculpture. It's different from this. This is achieved through welding, while this is achieved through adding of clay, little by little, to bring out this. And this is almost at the finishing level. If you can see clearly, you see hand holding a pot of fire.
Yes.
Actually, it's a symbol of the light of the nation. Like as Anambra State depicts.
Wow, this is wonderful.
Thank you. So finally, this work will be transferred to another thing. That is, the outcome will be another entirely a different material other than clay. Yes, it takes series of processes to get to that. So you see the artist later adding up oil, that's oiling the whole work, and adding cement. No, the work they will be, the clay we are using is not meant to be permanent material. Yes, it's not meant to be permanent material. Its work is just to help us bring out the shape of what we want. And later the form, what we call form, the shape, the whole artwork, will be later transformed into something like this. Now this is called fiberglass sculpture. Now this involves a lot of chemicals put together and poured inside a mold of a clay work to produce this. Now this is a permanent medium. When the artist is done, you see him painting, as he has already started painting. He will paint and finish it well for a consumption. So consumption is it? Consumption then means for appreciation. A client will now develop feeling for it and go for it, like to buy it, and then it goes into a deal with the artist. And this is a good example of the three-dimensional art I was telling you about. Then the three-dimensional art means that you can see the depth of it. For instance, you can put your hands and you feel, you can touch it. Put your hands and you see how the forms play with the space. All of these empty spaces we have here, the artists know it as space. So you see that is a three-dimensional art. Then we still do, I'll still show you two-dimensional art sculpture. Now as you can see, this young artist is trying to bring out a masquerade festival event in a flat surface. Now, look clearly, you see the details, you see the images coming out so boldly. And the approach to this is different from this. From the one I just showed you. This one is a relief sculpture. It's a relief sculpture. A work that is done on a flat surface. That you can only appreciate looking at it directly. But you can't see it from behind because it is pasted on the wall. That makes it a relief sculpture.
So like how long does it take?
It depends on the artist's speed. In as much as you have the concept in your mind or the pictorial reference, you can decide to work very fast. But the least it could take would be 1 week.
1 week.
Yes, because you have to take your time to add and bring out the details beautifully in a way that by the time you're done, the work will not be so criticized. Because all of these works, when you're putting out as an exhibition, you have critics coming to your event to see to challenge what you're doing
and ask you questions.
And ask you questions. So in order for you to avoid most of the deep criticism, you have to take time to finish your work well. So it's a relief sculpture of masquerade. Here we have, you can see these other young artists trying to bring out a face in sculpture. This particular kind of sculpture is known as a bust sculpture. It's like a bust. It's like a portrait. Someone actually takes a photograph, but the artist captures his resemblance using clay. Do you understand? So now the artist here is trying to capture his face.
His face.
Yes. Bring out the resemblance of his face. You can as well do yours. If you give me a picture, yes, that's why you see these pictures references. So you can capture the most basic details of his face. By the time it's done, it's going to be exactly the artist's face.
Wow. I think we should be here when it's done.
Probably, if you want.
This is wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So we move on.
They're all your students.
Yes, by God's grace, they are big boys. They are philosophers. They are just deep artists. Yes, that's what they are. And then you see, we can talk about this. This is like, yes, it is like a fish. Fish in the water. You can see how the artist is so creative to use metal to represent water. Is it not beautiful? So the artist now uses a flat bar, twist them in a way that it feels will best depict water, and attach them to this frame, and then meander his way through metal to have a representation of fish swimming in water. And at the end of the day, the artist is successful because, of course, you recognize. I did not tell you. You immediately recognize that is fish. So the work is successful. Now coming down here, you see this work. This is another artwork. Yes, you can touch it. It's very smooth. This is another bust. Despite the differences in color, the artist here is trying to also bring out his beautiful face in sculpture. As you can see, it's already resembling him. So now he decided to use a different clay. There is yes, it's all clay. By the time the artist is done with his work, if you observe clearly, you will see the artist using oil on it. He will rub the whole of this work with oil. Because
what about oil?
It could be our native oil, the red oil, the palm oil we normally eat. It could be olive oil. It could be any lubricant at all. The essence is to make this work come out of the mold by the time the mold is added to it. Do you understand? In order for it to be able to detach from the surface of the mold, that is the essence of adding oil. Yes. So because at this level, the artist is not looking at finishing the work in clay. It is looking at finishing the work in what we call fiberglass.
Yes. Is that why there's a glass on it?
No, he's using this glass to reference himself. Yes. To look at his face features and then represent them by adding little by little to bring out the image as it is. So to give you a marvelous look. That's how it is. So it's all wonderful. So you can see, if you, this is another type of sculpture.
Okay.
Yes.
Metal.
Yes, it's metal. We call it jong sculpture.
Oh, junk.
Jonks.
Oh.
Yes, jong sculpture. Yes. It's actually a good example of using found object, waste. Yes. To bring out an image. If you look closely, you see that some of the elements of this, some of the metal of this are mechanic items that must have been a waste, damaged. The artist decided to pick them and attach them in a beautiful manner that will attract people. Yes. So, and now the artist has been successfully bringing out an image of a drummer and a dancer.
Yeah. Wow.
So the dancer is dancing, is getting so carried away by the nice beat of this person, and that's why he's twisting up and down. So this is John's artwork, actually using waste to bring out beauty. Like our people will say, there is
recycling.
Yes, like our people will say there is health in waste.
Okay. Yes.
You can actually bring out something from and try to create wealth.
Yeah.
If the artist tell you how much he's looking out, he's selling this work, you'll be marveled.
Right.
Yes. So welcome.
Wow. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
And this is to maybe when it's dark.
Yes, this is to eliminate the work when it is dark for consumption.
Okay.
Yes. So
this is really wonderful.
welcome to Sculpture Studio.
Thank you.
So you can see, this is, if you look closely, you see
materials.
Yes, these are some of our materials.
Okay.
And this is a clay in a preparation stage.
Yes. Yeah.
This is where we get our clay from the either ravines or anywhere they are digging boreholes. The artist will take his time to select pebbles from the clay and then try to make it very beautiful, nice, giving a nice texture before you start using it on artwork. So that is how it is.
Where do you hope to be in the next 5 years with all this?
Okay, beautiful one. I hope to become a very great artist. I don't want to measure my greatness by wealth, but I want to affect life as much as possible as I can by continually impacting knowledge of art into younger generation, and then I hope to be great and probably stand out as one of the greatest artists in Nigeria.
Yeah, despite any challenge that has to do with this, I'm sure that there are challenges.
Yes, definitely there are challenges. We have a lot of challenges. When it comes to school, we do not have basic tools that we need in order to foster a good learning process. We are suffering. Students are just trying to find that improvise on things. We're supposed to have a whole lot of stuff to help us reduce the stress in the process of working. But here, you can see most of the basic things like sewing machine is not here. We only managed to have one welding machine and the other one is not working. So in order for you to make a good art, you have to be patient, develop the improvisation. That's how we're surviving.
Wow.
So that's how it is.
So finally, before we round up, do you have any words of advice to young people that are into sculpting or into any other form of creative art?
Okay.
To motivate them.
Sure, I do. To any young artists out there, you must be very, very studious. You must know what you want. And don't let anybody discourage you that what you're doing is bad.
Yeah.
Because I can remember when I was young, I started drawing. My mom used to discourage me by telling me, drop that thing, go to read your books. It was my dad that actually encouraged. So don't let anybody discourage you. There is a whole lot of this course we are doing is actually very lucrative. And Nigeria nowadays, looking at it, is not a time for a white collar job. So keep doing what you do. The sky will be your limit.
Now, thank you very much. Thank you very much, James, for this wonderful opportunity and your time too. So I'm sure you heard him. If you're into sculpting or any form of creative arts, stay steady and your passion will definitely see you through. So yeah, this is the end of this segment, but we have a lot more for you. So don't go anywhere and we'll be right back.
Creative artwork is a very nice work, and they can be promoted in so many angles. Like, some people are interested in artwork, but they don't have capital to start it. And secondly, so many people have the capital, but they don't know how to start. You understand? So what I'm saying is, if government should help those that don't have capital, it can go a long way to put youth into works and so many things. So
you know, when you're talking about art, it's very important. So it needs to be created either by creating awareness in the school, whereby the people in charge should have a curriculum on this art something. And also the children, especially the teachers, should put interest on these children so that they will love it. When they love it, they'll be able to express it either by drawing or by practicing it in the school and so on. Even the parents are supposed to be involved. The parents are involved when they see artwork or art book in the school. They will buy it for their children. And so even in the offices, they can place the already created artwork in the offices, whereby those civil servants or those public servants will see it and they will like that, and they will also like to buy it.
It's very, very important. Like here now, I don't need government to do things for me. For instance, I just decided to stay on my own. I'm into printing, designing, and also drawing. So the importance of creative outputs, to me, I benefited much from it. It helps me to do so many things instead of waiting government to do so many those things for us. So I do it to help myself, help my family, and also the society at large. It is very important for us youths to engage ourselves into creative outputs. Like, there are so many things like painting, drawing, and all rest of them, instead of jumping from one place to another, doing all sorts of rubbish things. So it's very...
The book for the week is The Thing Around Your Neck. This is a short story collection by one of the foremost Nigerian authors, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. It is a 300-page book which contains 12 short stories with different themes, which ranges from materialism, connection, social opinion, independence, identity, racism, loneliness, war, etc. Through the book, Adichie turns her eye on Nigeria and America through the sizzling stories which earned her a lot of positive compliments. Some of the stories in the collection are Cell 1, which is about Nigerian prison system, a private experience where a medical student hides from violent riots with a poor Muslim woman. Imitation, where a young mother finds her comfortable life in Philadelphia threatened when she learns that her husband had moved his mistress into the Lagos home. Through the book, Adichie painted different worlds through words. If you haven't read the book, you really need to. Remember, creative people are readers.
This is the Creative Update, where we bring you juicy things happening in the world of creativity. Well, first on our list is the poetry concert organized by Dike Chukwumerije, which will be coming up this time in Enugu State. You know, poetry is indeed a tool for social change. I'm sure you've heard about the Sudanese Revolution, which was organized by a young poet of 22. Yes, poetry is indeed a tool for social change. On our list is the Enugu Makeup Exposition. If if you want to learn things that has to do with fashion, makeup, hair, and every other thing like that, you need to register for this. Yes, it's cheap and it's very accessible. Finally, the second edition of Poetry Slam Anambra is going to be coming up very, very soon. And we'll bring you more information as it unfolds. So this is where we come to the end of this program. But you can keep following us online at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio TV. Like this video, share with your friends, and also comment. How do you think we can improve the acts of sculpting and creative arts too? Till I come your way next week, I am Chisom Udeoba. Enjoy the rest of your day.